once you're away from religion for a while, as I have been, after knowing it so intimately, it's a weird thing to look back and be like, these were arbitrary, weren't they? Like, they were just making shit up at a certain point because they structurally needed things to tell people. They needed to have a structure for people to follow because it made society easier. It's much easier to command and organize people if you have a religious divine structure in place. And it's a much more powerful thing to say, do this because it's the right thing to do, or do this because you'll be punished. To say, do this because the divine unseen presence, the all-knowing, all-seeing thing around you is watching and will deal with you in time. It is such an astounding way to be able to build a religious boogeyman into the entirety of existence. The guilt of being like, you'll hear from people, like especially a lot of women who are repressed even more sexually than men, who will talk about how they didn't masturbate until they're in their 20s and all of that, because they were like, it's God's everywhere and God's watching. Why would I do something that I could get caught doing? And it's like, that is, holy shit, does that take time to unspool? And how far does that fracture your psyche to not be able to have a healthy relationship with it? Because then what happens is many people go from one extreme like that, severe religious oppression, and then they slam over to the other side of that spectrum very rapidly with massive sexual openness, but to a degree where they might not be doing it safely because they're just so excited to be sexual and vivacious, and it feels rebellious, and it feels like something to go against what they were not allowed to have. But often that can mean that they're not having a healthy relationship with sex either, because they're doing it as an act of rebellion, not even as an act of individual self-pleasure. You know what I mean? So it's like, I don't know. I have very, especially as I get older, the more I see of people, the more I learn of the world and the people in it. The harder a time I have not seeing so many religions as anything other than things that repress what it is to be human on a base level. And the problem is too, I have not once, and I mean this sincerely, drop a comment to tell me any single thing that is a positive in religion that cannot be experienced or constructed outside of that religion.